What's up, everybody? It's Reality back with another NFL video, this time covering the AFC East. Starting off with the New England Patriots, I believe are $6 million under the cap. Potential release could be Shaq Mason. And even though they are dealing with cap issues, I would try to bring back Devonte Parker if I was the Patriots, whether you franchise tag him or whatever you got to do there. Yeah, the Patriots, who usually have all the money in the world to spend, are under the cap right now, and I'm sure they'll find a way to sign 1 million players like they always do. So I see their needs being edge rusher, middle linebacker. They could get a left guard and a right guard. I believe Shaq Mason is a right guard, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just saying, like, if they let him go, they could save about $6 million to get even with the cap, and then probably have to restructure a bunch of contracts because you need money to sign all your draft picks. And they could sign a right guard in the draft, and obviously they need another wide receiver on that team. One of the glaring holes, but they're not going to be able to afford a high-powered wide receiver in free agency. Now, going into the Bills, they look to be one of the most amazing rosters that I've seen since doing this so far. I don't know if Singletary's still on his rookie contract, how many years left he has on that, but I could see them letting Singletary go to save some money, and they could just let Zach Moss and Matt Breida handle the responsibilities there at running back. Matovich is a backup linebacker, and he could save about $2 million. And Cole Beasley, I know Emmanuel Sanders is leaving the team potentially. Cole Beasley would save the Bills $6 million and allow Isaiah McKenzie to step up and be a starter, and they'd still be set with 11 men on both sides of the field. Really strong roster from the Buffalo Bills, and they will truly be just drafting best available player throughout the draft. So I think that there's still a legitimate threat in the AFC, but now with a whole bunch of new coaches over there, we'll see if they can keep the same Bills fire alive. Moving on to the New York Jets. This probably surprised a lot of you guys. From top to bottom, there is no superstar on the Jets. But I do, however, think they have a very well-rounded roster. If coached the right way, could be a really good team. Aside from injuries, because obviously depth is an issue. So I believe if the Jets wanted to cut anybody, if they wanted any more money, you guys have about $40 million. So really good. You don't got to worry about cap at all. They could probably release Ryan Griffin. I don't know where George Font stands on the team right now. He did not end the season as a starter. I don't know if that was due to injury. I also saw a rumor that Mekhi Becton's job is not safe. He will have to compete with possibly George Font in training camp for his starting position. But if the Jets cut George Font, they'd be saving $8 million or $9 million, something like that. And besides an outstanding edge rusher, the Jets should also be looking for best available player in the draft. There's also a lot of speculation that they really need help on the secondary. Obviously, a bunch of mock drafts have had them predicted to take either Kyle Hamilton or Derek Stingley. And I believe that if Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau drop to them, that's the player that they should be taking after analyzing their roster. And throughout the draft, just taking best available player. They do have $40 million to spend, or about $36 million after you consider signing your draft picks to spend in free agency. So they could make one or two big splashes, which would definitely be needed if the New York Jets plan on ever competing and winning games in this league. Now, the Dolphins, who in the last 2 years have been, well, this season and last season, have been just one game away from making the playoffs, actually currently have the most money to spend in the NFL. With Will Fuller most likely leaving, they definitely need a third starting wide receiver on the team. And the Dolphins would be perfect to make that big splash and going out and grabbing Chris Godwin or Devonte Adams if they become available, or Amari Cooper if he becomes available. Those being probably the three biggest names at wide receiver, the Dolphins would definitely be wise to go and snatch one of those guys. I believe the Dolphins need a little bit of help at linebacker, and in the draft with the rest of their picks, they could bolster up the offensive lines and defensive lines a little bit. And I think that the AFC East seems to be way better off than the NFC East. So going into the playoffs, or going into free agency, I really think that the Jets have a good team, and I mean, you can't get much worse than what they are. So if they take all their cap space money, they go out and make two big splashes. They draft best available player throughout the draft, and they get coached right. I believe the Jets can be really good this year. You just have to see how it translates to the field and their schedule and what happens. Like I said, the Dolphins, if they go make a big splash and get Tua Tagovailoa, another super reliable target, a number 1 or number 2 next to Jalen Waddle, and then they also have Devonte Parker. Could you imagine Devonte Adams, Amari Cooper, or Chris Godwin joining that offense? It would be immaculate, and their defense is one of the best top 5, top 10 defenses in the NFL. I think getting that solidified superstar wide receiver can bring them to the playoffs. And the Bills, they've gone to the AFC Championship game, the AFC divisional round, and I mean, they lost to the Chiefs. The Chiefs we all know, have been to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game for 4 or 5 straight years. It was a crazy game, lost in overtime. There was like 5 touchdowns scored in the last 2 minutes of the game or something like that. The Bills could have easily have made it to the AFC Championship game, and who knows what would have happened. Maybe the Bills could have won the Super Bowl this year. Patriots, coached by Bill Belichick, they made it to the playoffs this year and got slaughtered by the Bills. So I really do think they need to bolster up that defense. They need to be able to get more pressure on the quarterback. And it would suck to see Dante Hightower go. He's one of my favorite players. But I'm not a Patriots fan, so I guess that doesn't bother me. And yeah, so that about covers it, guys. If you haven't seen my NFC East breakdown yet, go check that out. In the video before that, we put out the power rankings for the year. It's only not even March yet, so look for me to do another power rankings maybe in the middle or end of March after like free agency starts to kick off, and then we'll do another power rankings after the draft. We'll do another power rankings after training camp probably, because there'll be signs and cuts, and then we'll do the final power rankings right before the season when the 53-man rosters get announced, and there will be a power rankings every single week during the season. So make sure you guys click that like if you like the video. Drop a comment what you agree and disagree with. Let me know who your favorite football team is. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. Share me with your friends. Obviously, every diehard football fan has fellow diehard football fans that they watch the games with on a weekly basis. So let them know about the channel as well. And thank you guys for watching. Forever Reality. I love everybody that loves me. Until next time, peace out.